Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's up? Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's doing well. I appreciate you guys all for stopping by the stream. We're gonna have a fun one today, so thank you guys for stopping by. It means a ton. Hope everyone's doing well. Is this the last stream of the season? I'm not sure, honestly. Vince, thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate you. I hope you're still here. If you're not still here, I can answer it later. I look rough. I'm just ugly, I guess. I don't know. It's also because the camera's on the other way, so like with the white over here, I don't know, it just looks worse. What's going on, man? Need 2 for the flex. Full PPR, Debo, McMillan, or Brian Robinson. Personally, I would go McMillan and Brian Robinson. Again, Debo is the kind of guy that any given game, he could just go crazy, right? If Debo Samuel scored 25 fantasy points, would I be surprised? No. I would also not be surprised if he scored 3 fantasy points. That does really put us in a tough situation. The matchup on paper here isn't really the worst. I mean, I could see the 49ers and the Lions getting into a very high-scoring game. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the game didn't go that way. It was a bad game. And it was a game where the 49ers are down bad and they're not really able to get Debo into the correct motions, give him the correct plays that you would want for him. And then he ends up just kind of shitting the bed. So for me personally, I think the answer would be to go ahead and play McMillan and Brian Robinson. I think Debo is like, if you're really just hunting for upside, if your main goal, Vince, is hey, I want to try to go ahead and score as many fantasy points as possible with, knowing the risk, then sure, if you want to go ahead and play Debo Samuel, then that's fine. But for me personally, I would lean the way of playing, here, one second, I'm trying to do something, playing the guy that I trust the most, and I trust McMillan and Brian Robinson much more than I trust Debo Samuel. One great game out of Debo Samuel doesn't necessarily move the needle for me. Now, it doesn't necessarily make it negative either, right? I don't think he's like this god-awful play, but at the end of the day, I would not feel confident enough playing Debo Samuel again, even after one good game. It's just not enough for me. So personally, I would be staying away from Debo Samuel. So I would play McMillan and Brian Robinson. Anonymous, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Half PPR, 1 flex, Mooney, Downs, Dobbs. Even with Flacco, I'm worried about the game script favoring Jonathan Taylor and the defense. Mooney and Dobbs are in possible shootouts. Dobbs versus Minnesota, 37 versus wide receiver. I know Watson. Thoughts? Thanks. No problem. I think I have to move Downs up my rankings. I don't think I moved him up far enough. Now, I still don't think that Downs is like this must-start wide receiver by any means with Joe Flacco, but I do feel probably the most confident in him. So I mean, realistically, all that you are saying makes perfect sense, right? What you are saying makes 100% sense in my opinion. Hey, you are, not really loving Flacco, which I agree with. I don't really love Flacco either. Flacco has been incredibly hit or miss this season, but I do think I would lean with Josh Downs just because it seems like Josh Downs and Flacco just have this great connection together. I have Josh Downs ranked. I'm going to keep moving him on up. I'm going to move him up to wide receiver 32, which would be above Mooney and above Dobbs. So yeah, I would go personally with Downs. My guy, we flex in Spears, Reed, or McMillan. Great question. Personally, I would be with no Tony Pollard. I think the answer has to be Spears. Spears has been so hot. Pause. Like the guy has just been on fire. And if he's gonna be playing without Pollard up against Jacksonville, I've got him as my running back 16 right now. I'm gonna post the updated rankings on Patreon shortly. I think you could even make an argument to rank him higher. I think Spears is a must start. This does kind of feel like a scenario where we start Spears and we end up getting absolutely fucked in the ass by the fact that we played Spears because he played so great in so many games in a row, and this is finally going to be the game where he does it, this, that, and the other thing, and then he doesn't end up doing it. But personally, I think you just have to go Spears. Jason, thank you for the super chat. Bryce Young or Sam Darnold for all the marbles? I'm going Sam Darnold. I'm going to give Bryce Young as much credit as I possibly can. I think Bryce Young deserves a lot of credit. And we've been saying this for weeks. I think Bryce Young deserves all of the credit in the world for being a better quarterback than we all thought. We kind of all wrote him off unanimously. And he ended up having a pretty good season at the end of the day. But again, he's still not this like elite quarterback. And Sam Darnold has been playing incredibly well week in and week out. I think it would be crazy to start Bryce Young over Sam Darnold. So it's going to be Sam Darnold. Sam, thank you for the super chat. Or Sean, I apologize because I just read Sam. Tua down, sad face. Laporta or Janu, A-Chain over White. Now, Tua, I believe, is going to play. Both the... Oh, hold up. Hold the phone. I thought Tua was going to play. Now they're saying he's not going to play. He's doubtful. Shit. I mean, I knew he was doubtful. Yeah, so that sucks. I thought he was going to play because I thought the reason why they said he had a hip injury was because he had a hip injury, and also because they were going to, pull the wool over our eyes and say, oh, Tua's hurt. And then, hey, if he gets benched, then, it is what it is. Oh, man. I mean, based on what I just read, doesn't sound the best for him. Fuck. No Tua today. I mean, are slated to... I mean, Tua could play. I mean, he's doubtful. The problem is the game's at 4. How did Janu without Tua? How did Janu do without Tua? 2024. Fuck, I don't know why this is just useless. Janu Smith reception. Janu Smith stats without Tua 2024. Okay. I mean, he was still fine without Tua, so I would still lean with Janu, and I'm still going Achane over White. I just think that's probably the smart move. Is to just stick with Achane. I know Achane was a disaster without Tua this season, but I think there's still enough of a chance that Tua plays to where I would just lean that way. That does obviously suck though. But yeah, I would go Janu, and I would go Achane still. Cal from Fresno, thank you for the super chat. McMillan, Jennings, McLaurin, start 2, bench 1. The odd man out is going to be Juwan Jennings. I like Juwan Jennings. I'm probably more of a Juwan Jennings fan than most people. I think Juwan Jennings still has the skills to pay the bills, even if the numbers haven't been the best recently. But McMillan has been on fire, NBA Jam style, and McLaurin has also been on fire. So I'm not sending either of the guys that have been playing that well. So in my opinion, that basically just guarantees that the odd man out is going to end up being Jennings. So McLaurin and McMillan for me. Stay Mezzo, stay ME70. Thank you for the super chat. Stay Mellow, I'd assume maybe. Hill, Reed, or Akonkuwu. I mean, it sucks because Tua's probably not going to play, and we know that basically completely dismantles any hope that Tyreek has a great game. Now, is it still possible? Yes. Tyreek and Tua were getting in a bunch of reps pregame, and that doesn't really matter. So it does matter. I'm at the point right now when it comes to Hill that basically just says I would rather start anyone. I'm gonna have to move Hill down my rankings right now because if Tua doesn't play, you're basically just fucked. I wish that the game was at 1 so that we would just know right now, hey, Tua's not playing 100%. I think I would just roll out Chig. I love Tyreek Hill. I hope he has a big game. I'm dropping him down my rankings like it's hot. He's now my wide receiver 22. I still think the hope is there. If you think you're going to lose and you just want as much upside as possible, play Hill. If not, play Akonkuwu. Good morning. Happy holidays, Donald. Good morning, man. Half PPR, 2 running backs, 1 flex. A-Chain, Spears, B-Rob, Garrett Wilson, thanks. No problem. I'm still kind of in the mindset that you should probably still play A-Chain even without Tua. Now, look, I get without Tua, A-Chain's numbers absolutely tanked, but this is up against the Browns. I don't really expect this to be like some fucking barn burner high scoring game if Tua doesn't play. And I expect the Dolphins to be able to run. The reason why Achane was unsuccessful when Tua was down was because the team just couldn't run the ball, right? If your team is getting fisted up the wazoo, you can't really run the ball. And you can run the ball now, though, if the team is in the game, right? Going up against DTR definitely means that you can run the ball. So I would go ahead and play Achane. I think you have to start Spears. And I'm going B-Rob because I think B-Rob bounces back. So Achane, Spears, and Brian Robinson. Garrett Wilson's going to be the odd man out. I still like Garrett Wilson. I don't think that we should all be unanimously quitting on Garrett Wilson, acting like the guy's a bum or something. But let's be honest, Adams is the guy on the team. So it's Achane, Spears, and B-Rob for me. Trigger Trey, thank you for the super chat, my man. I really appreciate you. Full PPR started tight end, Chig Laporta, Janu without Tua. Start 1, London, Brees, or Devonta Smith. I like that question a lot. I would probably go and avoid Devonta Smith if I'm being honest with you. So it's between either London or Brees. I would go with London up against Washington. I know the Commanders' defense definitely has played better recently. It's actually hilarious that the Dolphins got rid of Noah Igabin. I don't know how the fuck to say his last name. Noah I is what I always called him. And the guy was absolutely terrible as a Dolphin. I'm talking about bottom of the barrel. The guy would be just leaving guys wide open. He'd be getting pantsed. And this year, he's actually one of the best corners in the National Football League. So that just goes to show you how big of a disaster the Dolphins are, that one of the better corners in the NFL in terms of, I believe, yards allowed was a guy that was on the Dolphins and is now gone. So, I mean, that's just a great feeling. I would go with Drake London, though, against the Commanders. And then I would still roll out Janu because Janu was still fine without Tua. Logan Truck, thank you. Or Logan Tuck, I apologize. Thank you for the super chat. Rank and half PPR. Brees Hall, Jerome Ford, F-150, Tajay Spears, and Neighbors. For me, it would be Tajay Spears, Ford, Hall, Neighbors. Hall and Neighbors are kind of in the exact same scenario. I'm just kind of genuinely nervous about the output of the offense. The Jets, they have the skill set, they have the skill players to have those big games, right? They possess the players to go out there and put belt to ass. They possess the players to go out there and go absolutely ballistic, have those big games. But at the same time, deep down who they are. We all know who they are. And they are a team that I don't think really will end up putting up those big numbers. But they have the guys to do it, right? It's the same thing with the Giants, right? Malik Neighbors is Malik Neighbors. If Drew Lock plays well, Malik Neighbors could take your team straight to superstardom. Is that the most likely scenario, though? Of course not. So for me, it would be Spears, Ford, Hall, Neighbors in that order. PPR, Adams or Achane. The fact that Tua probably won't play would push me towards going Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is coming into the week banged up, but based on what I've read, he is going to be good to go. I still am holding out hope, just as a Dolphins fan, that Tua ends up playing, because that will really, give us a chance to actually win the game. The Dolphins are still in playoff contention, but ultimately, Tua just gets fucking hurt tying his cleats up, sadly. So I would go ahead and play Devontae Adams. Full PPR flex, Ford, Hill, or Garrett Wilson. I think I would go with Ford. The Dolphins defense is just so abysmally bad up against the run. Like, it's almost shocking. Now, the Dolphins defense does play good against bad teams, and the Cleveland Browns are a bad team, but we did see Jerome Ford play really solid last week, and we know the Cleveland Browns MO is going to be the run the ball, right? They don't really want to be passing the ball a ton with DTR. So I would personally go with Jerome Ford. Next question here. Championship. What's up, Rutnips? How you doing? Anonymous, have a feeling about Dobbs, Watson out, but Downs. Yeah, I mean, if you want to play Dobbs, go ahead. But yeah, I'm still going Downs. Rutnips, thank you for the super chat. Championship, Chig or Ferg? And Neighbors or Jawan Jennings? I would go ahead and play Neighbors. I mean, I think with Neighbors plays, you just kind of, in a lot of scenarios, you're kind of just stuck playing him. In a scenario like this, where you're comparing him to Jawan Jennings, I like Jawan Jennings. Again, I am a fan of him, so don't think I'm like gonna shit all over the guy. I do think he's a talented player, but it would just be hard for me to sit Neighbors, because with Drew Lock under center, you could see Neighbors actually have a halfway decent enough game to where you feel like you got a nice value out of playing him. So for me, I would go ahead and play Neighbors, and then Chig or Ferguson. I'm going to go Chig just because Chig has been playing so well recently that it would be hard for me to sit him. So Chig and Neighbors for me. J Flow, thank you for super chat. Josh Allen or Goff? Great question. When it comes to Jared Goff, it is pretty interesting, or more when it comes to Josh Allen, because I think a lot of people are nervous to play Josh Allen because they think the Bills are going to potentially bench him at like halftime. They think maybe Josh Allen won't have the best game up against the Jets. Well, the Jets defense is not the Jets defense that we thought they would be. The Jets defense has been relatively down bad. So for me, while I don't want to pretend like I am in love with the fact that they could end up tugging out Josh Allen, metaphorically, of course, and throwing him on the bench, I do think the smarter move would be to go ahead and sit Jared Goff and play Josh Allen. I just think the upside of Josh Allen is week winning. I think if you're J Flow, if you're looking at this from like who is the safer bet, I think Goff is safer than Josh Allen, but I'm still going Josh Allen. Zach Dabney, thank you for the super chat. PPR need a super flex and a flex. You got Mac Jones, Jameson Williams, Reed Jennings, and Downs, and cool Joe Flacco. Now, Joe Flacco to me is very high risk, very high reward. And what I mean by that is I wouldn't be shocked at all if Flacco went out there and played a really good game and he was like the quarterback 16, right? Nothing to write home about, nothing to go crazy about, nothing to, wake up the whole family and tell them, oh my God, I'm such a genius. I started cool Joe Flacco. But also, he could be good enough to where if you had to play him, you're not like completely and utterly disappointed with the fact that you played him. And that makes him very interesting because of the hit or miss nature that is Joe Flacco, right? If you look at his stats, it's just very interesting to look at, right? We have games where he's on top of the world, top 4 quarterback at week 5, quarterback 15 back in week 4, quarterback 18 week 6, quarterback 14 week 10. But then we have other games where he is the quarterback 31, where he literally couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a pass. And that worries me. Now, in terms of ranking quarterbacks, I have, let's see, Mac Jones versus Flacco. Mac Jones versus Flacco. And I'm going to update the rankings very shortly on Patreon so people get them. Flacco expert consensus rankings is 21. So I think I might have to move him up. I kind of agree with that. And Mac Jones ECR is 26. I mean, Mac Jones has actually looked pretty decent recently, so I will give him some credit. And I do like the spot up against the Titans. The last time these two teams played, Mac Jones was the quarterback 25, though. So there's still some risk in it. I think gun to the head, I'm going to play Joe Flacco. And I'm going to play Jameson Williams. You could go for the stack attack of Flacco and Downs, but I do have JMO ranked higher, so I'd go Flacco and JMO. Flacco and JMO. Skeeter, thank you for the super chat. Josh Downs, Drake London, or Adam Thielen, half PPR? Great question. This is a great question because a lot of people are going to be high on Josh Downs. Rightfully so. A lot of people might be nervous about Josh Downs, which is also rightfully so. Drake London kind of screwed the pooch last week. I thought he would end up having a pretty big game with new quarterback Michael Penix. That doesn't end up coming to fruition. Why? Because the team just doesn't play all that well. The offense plays well, but it wasn't really because of the passing attack, and Mooney had the better game. I get if you are afraid to play Mooney, but for me, I get if you're scared to play London, but for me, I would go ahead and play Drake London. I got him as a top 15 receiver. Again, I know he didn't play well last week. I know Michael Penix didn't look great didn't look amazing last week either. And he was the wide receiver 41, but the matchup up against the Commanders is too good for me to send him, just too juicy. I like Thielen a lot as well. Like I'm good with all three of these guys, but personally, gun to the head for me, it would be Drake London would be the guy that I would be throwing into my lineup. And then I Can Fix Your Copier said, hey, Nick, can you do me a favor and congratulate Joe for winning our work league championship? Congratulations to Joe. Shout out to Joe. I don't know if Joe watches these videos, but that's awesome. Congratulations. I hope that all of you guys end up winning your leagues. Obviously, the most likely scenario is not every single person that watches my videos will win their championship, right? I mean, it's tough to win, but I do appreciate everyone that watches. So I would go London over those guys. Richard, thank you for the super chat, my man. McMillan or Garrett Wilson, worried about the weather? NFL weather. I mean, I try not to panic too hard about the weather. I know some people are weather enthusiasts. They will panic about the weather. And I get that, right? Sometimes the weather is a little bit fucked up and could lead to a bad game. Now, only 8-mile-an-hour winds for the game in Tampa. Not expected to rain, just a little bit cloudy. And then for the Jets, it is expected to rain, 8-mile-an-hour winds, nothing to worry about too much. As of right now, I have Jalen McMillan ranked over Garrett Wilson. I might be too high on McMillan, but at some point, you just got to respect him, right? At some point, you got to just be like, hey, he's played incredibly well over the last couple of weeks. Let's fire him up as per usual. So, yeah, I would go ahead and do the smart thing, which is to play McMillan. I think McMillan has earned his spot. He's earned his stripes. I talked about him in the offseason. I thought, hey, if something was to happen to Godwin or Evans, I thought McMillan could fill in nicely. Now, obviously, McMillan has filled in for Godwin for a while, and obviously it didn't work out the best every single time, but I do think that brighter days are ahead, and 3 straight games inside the top 20 has me feeling real nicey, has me real confident in him. So, yeah, I'm going to bang the drum for McMillan over Garrett Wilson. I honestly, if you ask me, in August, Nick, I'm going to start McMillan over Garrett Wilson by championship, I would tell you you're a fucking idiot. But that's not the point in the season we are at anymore. So, yeah, I go McMillan over Garrett Wilson. Juan Tifa, thank you for the super chat. Sup, bro? Thank you very much for the super chat. A-Chain, Spears, or Ford? It's tough. It's tough because I wish the Dolphins game was at 1. Because if the Dolphins game was at 1, I could go out right now and tell you, hey, play A-Chain. Play A-Chain. Tua's in. Play A-Chain. But that's not the scenario we are necessarily in right now. Now, I'm going to have to knock A-Chain down a bunch of pegs in my rankings. And what that is going to do is elevate Tajay Spears into a very, 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 very high ranking. So personally, I would go Tajay Spears. Tajay Spears kind of feels like a landmine that we're all just stepping on, but I'm going to go with Tajay Spears this week over A-Chain. McLaurin or AJ Brown? I watched 66. Thank you for the super chat. McLaurin or AJ Brown to start in the big win, baby. The way I look at this, I watch is very simple. If you want to be as safe as possible, you play Terry. If you want a little bit more upside, you play AJ Brown. I have Terry ranked ahead. Why do I have Terry ranked ahead? Because I would just rather not play the guessing game that is how good is Kenny Pickett going to play this week, right? I think that is a very, 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 very tough scenario to be in where you are constantly playing the guessing game of can Tajay Spears play? Can Kenny Pickett play well? Will he not? I mean, ultimately, we kind of all know who Kenny Pickett is. I don't think anyone in the right mind thinks that Kenny Pickett is all that great of a player. I think he's competent enough to potentially lead AJ Brown having a great game, right? We saw it last week. It is possible. It's not impossible, but the more likely scenario, I think, is Terry McLaurin outscores him because Terry McLaurin has the actual fucking quarterback. So, gun to the head, it would be Terry McLaurin for me. Thank you guys for all the super chats. I appreciate you guys so much. Jonathan Tilzer, thank you, my man. I appreciate you. Bass or Aubrey for the kicker. Thanks for getting me to the championship, man. Have a good New Year. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your guys' support. Genuinely, it's so crazy. It's the end of the season. There's over 100 people, so make sure you guys hit that like button. Bass or Aubrey. Even without CD, I kind of think you just have to play Aubrey. And the hope is just going to be the Cowboys are good enough to get to like the 40 or the 30. They're not good enough to punch it in, but they're good enough to move the ball into a range where you can kick a bunch of field goals. And I think that is very possible. Again, the Eagles defense is good. The Eagles defense is great. I get that. But at some point, you just have to realize, hey, this fella named Brandon Aubrey continues to get me 1 zillion fantasy points. Let's continue to play Brandon Aubrey. And that's the scenario that I'm in. I would continue to roll out Brandon Aubrey. Thank you for the super chat, Jonathan. Derek Just, full flex, full PPR, pick one, Reed, Downs, or Ford. Thanks. I'm going to go with Downs. I'm going to go Ford. Again, I really believe in Ford. I believe that the team is going to run the ball every single play, basically. They are not going to want to throw the ball. This is a game that I don't think, if Tua doesn't play, this is a game that's not going to get away from Cleveland, right? This is going to be one of the most boring games you have ever fucking watched. I believe there's only 2 games at 4 o'clock NFL schedule. Let me just make sure I don't sound like a buffoon here. There's only 2 games at 4. Yeah, it's the Packers and the Vikings and the Dolphins and the Browns. So I assume not a single one of you will be tuned in to the Dolphins game. Everyone's going to be watching the game that actually matters, and that makes sense, right? But I do think that Ford is just going to see so many touches, and that could potentially elevate him into having a huge game. I really do think that the team's just going to rely heavily on the run. They're not going to try to get cute and throw the ball a million times. So I would go Jerome Ford in full PPR. Logan, Jason Sanders, or Tyler Bass. The fact that Tua's not going to be playing does definitely, or could potentially not play, does definitely worry me about Jason Sanders. The offense really didn't look as good without him. Now, the quarterback that we have, whose name is just escaping me for some reason. I know what he looks like. Used to be on the Ravens. Oh, I feel so stupid. I'm looking it up. And then I'm going to look it up and instantly be like, oh, what a fucking idiot you are. Yeah, Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley, I think, is fine, but I think I would rather just go Bass because I just trust the Bills' offense significantly more. And if they do end up pulling Josh Allen, then we'll get a lot of Tyler Bass late in the game. A-Chain or Brees today now? I think I'm still going to play A-Chain. All balls, no dick. I have A-Chain 16, Hall 18. I think if you are just viewing this straight up, Nick, what's safer, Hall or A-Chain? Hall is probably safer, right? We've seen some real bad games out of A-Chain without Tua. We've seen some fine games out of A-Chain without Tua. So it's not necessarily a guaranteed death sentence. He's not getting sent straight to the fucking gallows without Tua, but it isn't as good. I'd say if you want to be safe, play Brees, but I'm still going to lean with A-Chain. Zachary, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. It's crazy how quick the year goes. Genuinely, it feels like just a couple of weeks ago, we started making videos to start off this season. And I guess that was, 17 weeks ago at this point. The season has been amazing. I know not everyone had the best season, right? Some of my teams experienced some serious injuries. But at the end of the day, I had a great season. I hope you guys all, you get to cap your season off with that championship. And let me know, just so you guys know. Please let me know on Twitter or in the comments after the games end if you win, because it does mean a lot to see that you guys win. Like, it's like crazy that I give out advice and it actually works, So that's always awesome to see. That's my favorite thing about the end of the season. While it does suck, I love seeing all of you guys win. Happy New Year. Full PPR flex. Mooney, Kendrick, Cocker, Ertz. I would go Mooney. The Saints just honestly suck too bad for me to want to outright say, let's fire up Kendre Miller. Now, can Kendre Miller have a good game? Of course, right? Of course he can. He can have a good game with the scenario that's there, right? Of course he can, right? He's a talented enough running back. Of course he can. But at the end of the day, does anyone really, 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 really want to start him? Is anyone really talking super excitedly about playing Kendre Miller after what we just witnessed on, what was that, Monday Night Football, where the team just got or was it Thursday Night Football? One or the other. I guess it was Thursday Night Football, where the team just got ass blasted. Or maybe it was Monday night. I don't know. I'm mistaking my days at this point, because everything got all messed up, right? With the Christmas schedule, it all just throws everything. My whole brain is mangled right now. But yeah, I would go Mooney. Mooney had a good game last week. I believe in Michael Penix. I believe that he's probably better than Kirk Cousins. He does have a solid arm. He can throw the ball deep down the field, and he's fun to watch. He is fun to watch. So I would go Mooney. I don't think any of those guys are must starts by any means. I don't think any of those guys are like your top tier options, the bang the drum for, give him the Sukalamink special, but I do like Mooney. So we're going to go Mooney. Full PPR flex, Darnell, here comes the Mooney. Here comes the Mooney. And we're gonna go a little bit faster now because we are, hey, what's up, Caitlin? We're a little far behind. Bryce Young or Flacco? I'm going to go with Bryce Young. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. Why would I go with Bryce Young over Flacco? Just because at this point in the season, call me crazy if you want, but I trust Bryce Young more. Again, I know that might sound crazy. I know that might sound stupid, but I do trust him more. I just do. I think he could end up having a very, 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 very solid game. So for me, that's the way that I'm going to lean. I'm going to lean with Bryce Young. Again, Flacco has been super duper hit or miss this year. We have seen some great games, like I said, some down games. So has Bryce Young. But based on what I've seen out of Bryce Young recently, and based upon the fact that I do think that could be a high-scoring game, right? That could be a game where it's back and forth, it's high-scoring, tit-for-tat, rock'em sock'em robots level affair, and that is going to ultimately lead me the way of playing Bryce Young, who I just trust more than an ancient version of Joe Flacco, right? An unk version of Joe Flacco. I just trust it way, way more. So that's the way that I'm going to be going. That's the way we're going to go. We're going to go ahead and play Bryce Young. Chevenal Walker, thank you for the super chat. Chasing upside, Dolphins or Colts? Chasing upside, Dolphins or Colts? I would go with the Colts. I think the Colts have the most upside to potentially get like 3 picks, multiple sacks, maybe a touchdown. The Giants are just such a disaster offensively. I'm personally going to be rooting for the Colts because if my Dolphins win and the Colts lose, if the Dolphins are able to win out and the Broncos lose to the Chiefs, they will actually get into the playoffs. Well, I know a lot of people be like, Nick, the season's dead. I still root for my team. I'm still going to be cheering for them openly. So I would go with the Colts. I would go with the Colts. Personally, I'm going with the Colts. Adrian, start 2. McMillan, Downs, Tracy Jr. McMillan, Downs, Tracy Jr. I would go ahead and play McMillan, Downs, Tracy Jr. I would go McMillan and I would go Downs. I like Tracy. I think Tracy's probably going to have a better game than most people think because the matchup is tough. But the fact that the matchup is tough is concerning, right? The fact that this isn't like the perfect matchup for him is very concerning, in my opinion. So I think I would kind of try to, in this scenario, stay away from Tracy. For one, I don't like the matchup. And for 2, I am pretty worried about the team being down and out and not being able to run the ball. Tracy should be fine, but that is a concern. It's concern enough for me to just go McMillan and Downs. If you want to go Tracy, it's fine, but it's definitely McMillan, 100%. So I'm going McMillan and Downs. Greg, thank you for the super chat. Jennings or McMillan at the flex, full PPR. It's 100% going to be McMillan. I love McMillan this week. I have waxed poetically about him. I've got him ranked inside the top 20. I think he is in for a humongous game. Like I'm talking about one of like a top 15 game, maybe top 10 game. That's how good I think he's going to do. I like Juwan Jennings. I think Juwan Jennings is going to be better than he was last week and the last couple of weeks. Honestly, I think the 49ers offense will show up because the matchup is good for them. But I think McMillan is just the much smarter play up against the Carolina Panthers defense. I think that is a very, 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 very smart move. So that's who I'm going to be leaning with. We're going to go with McMillan over Jennings. Is B-Rob playing? I believe he is. Brian Robinson Jr. I haven't read anything that says he's out. It seems like he's in. I haven't seen anything that says he's out. So, Jacob, Amir Abdullah, Jacoby Myers, or Jerry Jeudy at the flex? Great question. It's between, for me, Abdullah and Jacoby Myers. I think I would go with Jacoby Myers. While Jacoby Myers did end up as a disaster last week, I do think that he is much safer of a play for Abdullah, and I do like Abdullah. What you need to happen is he catches a dump off, right? And he runs directly into the end zone. He runs Speedy Gonzalez style into the end zone. Maybe he jukes a motherfucker out of his cleats and he walks right in, right? That is what you would want out of Abdullah. That's the ideal Abdullah game, right? Or maybe he gets the carry on the 1, he punches that thing in. That is the ideal scenario for Amir Abdullah. Whereas Jacoby Myers can go ahead and just get force-fed the rock. He could have a very reliable game while also having a ton of upside. So I would personally rather have Jacoby Myers. I think it is close between the two Raiders. I will tell you it is not even remotely close with Jeudy. I love Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy, I wrote him off too soon. I think the talent is very, 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 very clearly there. But at the end of the day, with the quarterback scenario that they're in, I don't view him as startable. So it's going to be Jacoby Myers, and we're going to have to go faster. Joey Ford, thank you for the super chat. Connor killed me. I know. I thought that he would be fine. I thought that he would have a good game. Turns out he was clearly hurt. And not only was he clearly hurt, he re-aggravated his injury, and they basically took him out of the game. Had he have been healthy, based on what I saw out of the other running backs on the team, I actually think James Conner probably would have had a good game. So I do apologize for that, though. I thought he would have been fine. He wasn't. Playing against Barkley and Thomas Jr., please pick one, Durham or Conk. I am leaning with Durham. Durham? Are you talking about Durham Smythe? Durham on the Dolphins? Or are we talking about some other tight end whose name is just not in my head? Oh, you're talking about Payne Durham. I'm so stupid. I'm a Dolphins fan. That was biased. Yeah, I would go Payne Durham. I would go with him. Why? Just because there's more upside with him compared to Conk. Like, you kind of know what Conklin's going to do. He's going to get 7 fantasy points, and he might not even do that, right? The matchup, the Bills, in my opinion, are not the best team up against tight ends, but we just know what Conklin is. He's going to be probably like the tight end 20 or like 18 through 23 every week. You're never really excited to have started him. You're fine to have started him. But you're looking for upside, right? You are talking about playing for upside. Connor killed you, so the upside is Durham, 100%. 100%. Riaz, thank you for the super chat. Jennings or Neighbors, Kincaid or Ertz, both in PPR. Thanks, no problem. For me, it's going to be... I mean, I have Kincaid ranked ahead of Ertz, but I'm starting to disagree with my own ranking even. He has gotten 7 targets in back-to-back games, though. Ertz has been kind of down bad recently. I think the smart move would be to go with Kincaid just because the targets have been there more. And then Jennings or Neighbors, I'm just going to blatantly just go with the guy that I think is more talented, and that is Neighbors. Again, could Juwan Jennings have a big game? Yes, but I've Juwan Jennings 26, Neighbors 19. Even a banged up version of Neighbors better than Jennings. So Neighbors and Kincaid for me in PPR. We buy home near you. Thank you for the super chat. Non-PPR flex 1, Jerome Ford, Garendo, Rashad White, or Jaden Reed. We're hunting for touchdowns in non-PPR. I think Jerome Ford is most likely to score a touchdown. Again, the Dolphins' defense against the run is dreadful. I am a huge fan of the Dolphins. I watch every single game. I lock in every single game. I do pay attention to every single football game, obviously. I do watch every game. I watch some games back, but the Dolphins are the team I'm most keen on watching on Sunday. The Dolphins' defense is atrocious against the run. So the smart move would be to play anyone going up against the Dolphins' run defense. And for me, the right move would be to play Ford. So I'm going to go Ford. Rise above everything. What's up, bro? Chig, Kincaid, or Janu? I'm still going to go with Janu. I understand that Janu didn't, losing Tua sucks, but Janu actually was able to put up solid numbers without Tua. The offense of Miami just so heavily predicates towards giving the ball to Janu Smith. Janu Smith is heavily targeted game in and game out. He gets force-fed the ball. They run a lot of screens for him. So personally, even if Tua does not play, I would still lean Janu. OSCS Lions Soul, thank you for the super chat. McMillan or Myers? I also have Evan starting. Mayfield or Darnold? Happy PPR. Happy New Year's, bro. Thank you. Happy New Year's to you as well. Personally, even though you have Evans playing, I'm still going to go McMillan just because, again, McMillan has put up so many reliable games in a row. When Evans is playing well, McMillan has played well. When Evans played bad, McMillan has played bad. I mean, McMillan has still played well, right? So even if Evans has a great game, McMillan should still be able to follow suit. And because you're so heavily invested in Tampa, it would be stupid not to just stack up Baker with the receivers. Now, obviously, if the... Oh, I know Joey Ford. I feel bad for telling people to start Connor because I thought he was going to be good to go. I read that he was good to go. And sometimes it just sucks because you say one thing and it doesn't go your way. But It's not my fault, technically. I mean, I read the reports and I thought based on what I thought. It's not your fault either. Most people, I'll tell you, most people that make fantasy content like myself probably would have told people to play James Conner. So I don't really feel bad about my thought process on that. But yeah, so even though if the Bucks tank, you're going to lose, right? But there's no reason to play in the middle and go with Darnold up against Green Bay. It's just better to just go balls to the wall. If you're already playing Evans, you're already playing McMillan, just stack them up with Baker and hope the Bucks have a huge game. Drico TTV, thank you for the super chat. Pick wide receiver 2 and flex Downs, Reed, Madison. So much rain for BTJ. I'm not worried about the rain. Is anyone watching the game right now? Does it look like it's like a straight up torrential downpour? Because I haven't seen anything on Twitter that would indicate that it's fucking raining cats and dogs. Let me look it up. Garrett Wilson could request a trade if Aaron Rodgers is the Jets quarterback in 2025. What a report that is. All right. Let's see. Jaguars rain. It just dropped about 20 degrees. Light rain is falling. Okay, it's light rain. Heavy rain is forecasted today. I'm still playing BTJ. So yeah, I'm going Downs, and I'm gonna play Madison. Downs and Madison. 100%. Downs and Madison. I don't want to play Reed. I think Reed could bust, metaphorically. Of course. I think Reed probably ends up having a bad game. So Downs and Madison make the most sense. Garendo or Ford, also Addison or Adams. Definitely Adams over Addison. Addison's been playing well. I love Jordan Addison. I think he's a good player. I think Addison's a great player, but it's got to be Adams. I mean, it just has to be. Adams has been playing out of his mind. It's got to be Adams. And then Garendo or Ford. Again, I'm just going to go Ford. I really do believe that Ford is going to continue to just get fed. I think he's just going to get a whole lot of carries, and I think it would be stupid to stay away from him. So Ford and Adams, you're off of Connor. Well, I respect you, Captain Spock, because you're smarter than me. Because when I saw how big of the numbers have been, and it seemed like he was going to be good to go, then I started to panic. I should have started to panic. Spears, AJ Brown, or McLaurin for the flex. Morgan, this is a really tough question because, in all honesty, you would want all 3 of these guys in your lineup, right? No, Spock did say something, Joey Ford. I remember he was talking about it, but I wasn't as nervous as Spock was. Sometimes me and Spock are on the same wavelength, different wavelength, but that's okay. We're not carbon copies of each other. Spock gives out great advice in the chat. Shout out to Spock. Do the thing right there. Spears, AJ Brown, or McLaurin. It's AJ Brown for me. Nope, it's McLaurin for me. I love AJ Brown, but the fact that Pickett's under center scares me enough away from AJ Brown. I have AJ Brown and McLaurin ranked back-to-back. I have McLaurin at 8, AJ Brown at 9. And I have Spears ranked inside the top 12 at running back, but I feel the most confident McLaurin due to the matchup. 07, full PPR, Kendre Miller, Abdullah, Blackshear, MVS. I think a lot of people are going to get stuck into playing Blackshear this week because of the fact that they ended up losing Chuba Hubbard. So a lot of people will be on Abdullah. I mean, a lot of people will be on Blackshear. I'm not going to be banging the drum for Blackshear. I'm going to go with Abdullah. Again, it's all about the upside. It's all about talking myself into the super high scoring game. So that's what I would do. I would play Abdullah. I think Abdullah, again, it's all about the upside with Abdullah. I think he could have a really big game based off of upside alone. So I would definitely go ahead and play Abdullah in full PPR. Eric Fiero, thank you for the super chat. Brian Robinson Jr. or Darnell Mooney. I have read nothing that suggests that Brian Robinson is going to be banged up. So I'm going to go with him. Hope for the upside in that game. Hope for the fact that the matchup is fine up against the Falcons, and just hope that he ends up having a much better game than last week. I think that Brian Robinson is much safer than Darnell Mooney. Justin, thank you for the super chat. Do short field possibilities make you LV or Miami? Thank you. No problem. Short field. Do you mean like, are you talking about DFS? Talking about small field contest in DFS? Or am I just stupid? Short field. Oh, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I would still play the Dolphins. Ultimately, I think the Dolphins are going to they always play well up against shitty teams. They just always do. The defense always shows out against shitty teams. Now, I have the Dolphins 4, the Raiders 8. So, Justin, if you're thinking right now, oh, I want to play the Vikings, I'm not going to sit here and berate you. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you're a fucking idiot if you want to play the Raiders over I don't know why I'm saying Vikings because of the V, I guess. Over the Dolphins, you're an idiot because I don't think you are, right? Going up against the Saints is always a great matchup. So I would go the Dolphins, though. I just think I think the Dolphins are going to have a field day up against the Browns. I just really do. I just don't think the Browns really are all that good. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Joe William, thank you for the super chat. Joe Williams, what's up, bro? Tracy, Downs, or Dowdle? I would probably just go Downs. I love Dowdle. I love Tracy. Dowdle's going up against a tough Eagles defense. Tracy's going up against the Colts, which is a fine matchup. But Downs with Flacco is just always going to get fed. You know he's going to get 7+ targets. Now, Flacco is not guaranteed to have a great game. I fully agree with that sentiment, if that's what your thought process is, and I agree with that. But I think the safest move would be to go with Downs. So that's the way I would lean. I would lean with Josh Downs. Dylan Randolph, thank you for the super chat. Mooney or Judy. Personally, I would go ahead and play Mooney. I like Judy. He has proven to us that he is better than I initially thought that he was. For years, I thought of him as a bust. But this year, he really, really, really played better. So I'll give him all the credit in the world. But without Jameis Winston, what is even the point in playing Darnell Mooney? I mean, what is even the point in playing Judy, right? With don't throw, run under center, right? Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So I don't want to play Judy. So I'm going Mooney. Thank you for the super chat. Zach, did you drop your question in chat? Make sure you do drop your question. You did. Have a running back in a flex spot to fill. Have a Rashad White, Tyrone Tracy, Josh Downs, Jerome Ford, Blackshear, and Garendo. Great question. I would go with Rashad White and Jerome Ford. Again, the Dolphins defense is terrible against the run. Again, we've talked about this a million times, and that does give Jerome Ford a really, really good spot to eat in. And then after that, it would be Rashad White for me, because Rashad White just feels like a real safety net, who gets a lot of touches in a game in, game out standpoint, gets a lot of receptions as well. So for me, I would feel very confident playing Ford. So Ford and Rashad White for me. If we are running with the Dolphins defense, should I still play Ford? Yeah, I would be fine playing my defense against my running back. If that scares you too much, I would go with the Raiders. Tajay or London, I would play Tajay. Mooney or Judy, I would 100. Did you super chat that twice? Oh, no, I already read that one. I would go Mooney. Jacoby Myers or Brian Robinson? Brian Robinson. Reed for the ceiling, Abdul for the floor. We don't root for injuries, but it is bittersweet if Tua doesn't play. My opponent had Tyreek, but I have A-Chain. Yeah, I think it's worse for both of you if Tua doesn't play. Like, I think for A-Chain to truly hit his ceiling, for A-Chain to have like that huge game that you'd want out of him, you do probably want Tua to play. Please, do I do Abdullah or Thielen? I would go Thielen. Jennings or A-Chain? I'm going A-Chain. Like and subscribe. Facts. What's that? Facts. Chigger, Kraft, Rashard or Bates. I have Rashard ranked very high, so Rashard. Thielen or Tracy, I would go Thielen. Janu, Downs, McMillan, or JMO, I would go McMillan. Reed over Madison. If you want to be safe, you play Madison. If you want to be higher upside, you play Reed, in my opinion. I love you too. Full PPR, need one. Terry, McMillan, Addison, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Hand over fist. I appreciate you always being in chat. I really appreciate you. I love that picture of the kid flipping the fucking camera off. That's a funny ass picture. It's at a baseball game. I would go Scary Terry. Any major changes to the wide receiver since yesterday? Scary Terry. Yeah, no, I haven't changed anything regarding that. Yo, Nick, what's up? 4 teams battling in the championship. Thanks for all of the great advice, sir. No problem. That's awesome. I'm very happy for you. I'm happy for anyone that makes their championship. It's truly amazing. It's crazy. Like it just is. Like that. My advice helps people. It's amazing. So thank you. Who do you think is better at quarterback? Bryce Young, Mac Jones, or Kenny Pickett? I would play Bryce Young. I don't think Kenny Pickett's really ever the answer to anything. Like Kenny Pickett just kind of sucks. All right, so I would go Bryce Young, in my opinion. Reed over Madison. I would go Madison if you want safety. Reed if you want high upside. I'd probably go Matt. I would probably go Reed. Thank you, KP. Flex Chig or Wicks. Chig. McMillan or Addison. McMillan. Appreciate you. Thank you, Spock. Also feels weird to leave AJ Brown on the bench. Yeah, I agree. It does feel weird. FYI, flex Ward over Connor just by instinct. Respect. All right. Make sure you guys leave your last second questions in the chat. Thank you to everyone who super chatted. 43 super chats. I don't know if we're going to be live next week. Garrett Wilson or Thielen. I'm going to answer this really quickly. Garrett Wilson or Thielen. I would play. What the fuck? Wilson. I have Wilson ranked below Thielen, so I go Thielen. Thielen at 21, Wilson 24. I love Thielen up against the Bucs. I trust Thielen way more than I trust Garrett Wilson. So Thielen over Garrett Wilson. Browns or Cowboys? Thanks, Nick. Good luck. I would go with the... Ooh, that's a good question. I would go with the Cowboys. Everyone make sure you smash that like button. Yes, sir. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Love you, man. I love you too. Good luck, everyone. Good luck. Facts. Purdy or Goff? I would go Goff. No, that's fine. Grape. I would go Goff. Let's go, Nick. Let's go Spock. Facts. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play. Best ball, daily drafts. Pick them. Yes, sir. Make sure you guys use code Notorious. Appreciate all you guys for watching this season. This might be the last live stream, might not be. I don't know if I'll go live next week. I don't know how many people play week 18. Hopefully not a lot of people because making the videos is really difficult. I'm wishing me good luck for all the game. Best of luck, man. Best of luck, hand over fist. Thank you to everyone for watching. It's 1 o'clock. It is lock. I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you guys for all the support this season. Hopefully next season's even better. So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the flippity flop. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Have a good one. That's always goes on the screen at the end. Thank you guys for the support this year. I love you guys so much. So hope you guys have a great one. And thank you, Spock, and everyone in the chat. Play some dance music to get on out of here. If this was the last stream of the season, it was a hell of a season. Good luck, everyone, and thank you for all your help, Nick and Spock. Thank you. I appreciate that. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye. Okay. You do play good next week. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys. Peace out. Bye-bye. Join the Discord.